Imagine this. A quiet Tuesday morning in a small Georgia town, the kind where everybody knows everybody, and the sun is just starting to burn off the dew on the cracked sidewalk outside the old corner store. An elderly black man in a pressed white shirt and suspenders leans against the wall, sipping coffee from a styrofoam cup, watching the world go by exactly like he's done every morning for the last 40 years. Suddenly, two patrol cars screech up, lights flashing. A young officer jumps out, hand already on his cuffs, barking, "Sir, you need to move along. We've had complaints about loitering." The old man looks confused, almost amused. "Son, I've been standing in this exact spot since before you were born." The officer doesn't care. He spins the man around, metal biting into frail wrists, and the small crowd that's gathered gasps as the elder is shoved into the back of a cruiser like a common criminal. But 30 minutes later, inside the station, that same cocky officer types the man's name into the computer for booking, and the color drains from his face so fast you'd think he saw a ghost. Because the man he just handcuffed for loitering, he's not just anybody. He's the Honorable Elijah Jeremiah Whitaker, retired Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court. Hey, if you're already feeling that fire in your chest, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because stories like this are exactly why we're here. Exposing truth, demanding justice, and never letting them forget who we are. The dashcam footage is painful to watch. Justice Whitaker, 81 years old, former legal giant of the South, sits silently. In the back seat, wrist red from the cuffs that are clearly too tight. You can see the tremor in his hands, not from fear, but from the sheer disbelief that in 2025 this is still happening to him. The arresting officer, Officer Brennan, only 26, keeps glancing in the rearview mirror like he's starting to realize something's wrong, but his pride won't let him back down yet. At the station, the sergeant on duty asks for the gentleman's ID. Justice Whitaker calmly reaches into his wallet and slides out a driver's license. The name reads exactly what the legend says. The sergeant's eyes widen. He knows that name. Every lawyer, every judge, every cop who went through the academy in the last 40 years knows that name. The man who wrote the landmark decisions that reshaped criminal justice in Georgia, the man who mentored half the black judges in the state, the man whose portrait still hangs in the Supreme Court building in Atlanta, is sitting in their holding area in cuffs because some rookie thought an old black man standing on a public sidewalk looked suspicious. Word spreads through the precinct like wildfire. Phones start buzzing. A lieutenant rushes in, whispering furiously to Brennan, "Do you have any idea who you just arrested?" Brennan, still trying to save face, mutters something about just doing my job, but his voice cracks. Then the captain shows up, face red, veins popping. He orders the cuffs removed immediately, personally apologizing while practically bowing. Justice Whitaker just looks at him with those calm, steady eyes that have stared down governors and Klansmen alike and says quietly, "Son, I fought for this country in Korea. I integrated this state's highest court when they didn't want men who looked like me in the building. And today, you put me in chains because I was drinking coffee outside a store I helped keep in business for 50 years. Tell me, Captain, when exactly did protect and serve start meaning harass and humiliate?" The silence in that station was deafening. But here's where it gets beautiful, because Justice Whitaker didn't want money. He didn't want the officer fired on the spot. He wanted something far more powerful. He asked for a town hall right there in that same small Georgia town 1 week later, and when the day came, over 500 people packed the high school auditorium, black, white, young, old, cops in uniform sitting next to activists in dashikis. The same officer Brennan was required to attend, front row, still in uniform, pale as a sheet. And for 90 minutes, Justice Whitaker didn't scream. He didn't curse. He simply told his story, then opened the floor. One by one, people stood up. A white grandmother admitted she was the one who called the police because she didn't recognize him anymore. A teenage girl talked about being followed in stores. A retired white deputy confessed he'd done the same thing 30 years ago and never apologized. Tears were flowing like rivers. And when it was over, Justice Whitaker walked straight to Officer Brennan, extended his hand, and said, "Young man, I don't hate you. I pity the training that taught you to see threat before you saw human. But I'm going to make sure no elder ever feels these cuffs again because of the color of their skin. Not in my town." Within a month, the department implemented mandatory elder respect training, implicit bias refreshers, and a community oversight board that Justice Whitaker himself agreed to chair at 81 years young. Officer Brennan, he asked to be part of the first training cohort. And now he's the one teaching rookies what real courage looks like. And that corner store, they put up a plaque right where it happened. On this spot stood Justice Elijah Jeremiah Whitaker, reminding us all that dignity delayed is dignity denied, but dignity demanded can change everything. Sometimes the revolution doesn't come with raised fists. Sometimes it comes with raised consciousness, one handcuff too many, one elder too legendary to ignore. Because when they Googled his name and saw who they'd really cuffed, they didn't just go pale. They saw the past, the present, and the future all at once. And for one brief, shining moment, Justice wasn't just a title on a business card. It was a man who refused to let even handcuffs steal his humanity. So tell me, family, from which part of the country are you watching this video right now? Drop your city or state in the comments, because I want to see how far this story is traveling, and I'm reading every single one.